going on, everybody? And good morning. Welcome to another episode of College Football Morning. Excuse me. It is October 17th. Man, we are flying through this college football season. We did not have a show on Friday. I apologize about that. I'm still kind of getting over the flu here, but we wanted to jump in and just have a really quick episode. We're going to recap what happened in the top 25 matchups this weekend in case you missed what happened this past weekend. I know sometimes, we get caught up in family stuff, doing whatever. Maybe you haven't had a chance to really just kind of dive in and see what happened. And we will definitely talk about that. No Moxley, he's wrapping up his vacation, but he will be back the rest of the week. My hair is just driving me insane. Moxley will be back the rest of the week with a lot of betting stuff. I know he filled in and still did some stuff, which we appreciate on his vacation. So let's just kick it off. Again, we'll go in order of the games played. Michigan beats up on Penn State. A top 10 matchup. Michigan at 5, Penn State at 10. Michigan wins 41-17. Didn't even feel that close, if we're going to be honest. It was not a good game for Penn State. They really got beaten up on both lines of scrimmage here. The interesting thing is we did see Drew Aller get into this game late. Now, it was mostly because of his Sean Clifford injury. I started some discourse on Twitter about that. I kind of think Penn State should just go to Drew Aller at this point. I know that Penn State's still not technically out of the Big Ten race, but I kind of feel like they are. I don't think right now, if you look at the way that team is currently constructed outside of a major injury or two to Ohio State, that they're going to be able to beat them, which effectively will knock them out of the Big Ten championship race. Does Drew Aller take them over that level? I don't know. But he can't be worse than Sean Clifford. I think at this point, in my opinion, if I'm coaching him, I know it's easy to say because here I am sitting here in Texas. I'm not the head coach, and my job and other people's jobs not riding on this decision. But I just feel like too often these coaches play it way too safe, and they need to go with what gives you more upside. Now, maybe I'm not seeing everything going on in practice. Maybe Alar's showing them in practice. He's just not ready. I find that hard to believe. I know he went out there and only went like 5 of 10 for 37 yards or whatever it was. But he looked good in the other parts of the season where he had to fill in for Sean Clifford when Sean Clifford got beat up, and he hasn't gotten live reps. And we always talk about quarterbacks need live reps to kind of improve and get better. And I think he needs to see him. And if he's really going to be the future of that program and a very talented quarterback like we all think he's going to be, why not just get him out there now and see what he can do? Ole Miss beats Auburn. Number 9 ranked Ole Miss wins 48-34. Quinshaw Judkins, amazing game in this one. 139 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, adds a touchdown in the air as well. Zach Evans, not a bad day. If you listen to me to sit him, I apologize to you guys about that because Evans had himself a great game as well. Number 19, Kansas. Feels like that fairy tale season is officially kind of over, unfortunately, as they lose here to Oklahoma. 42-52, they are likely going to be bounced out of the top 25. Now, maybe not. I kind of hope not, because obviously this loss comes without both these losses come without their starting quarterback. But I do think that they probably get bounced. Number 22, Texas holds on to beat Iowa State 24-21. Quinn Ewers made some great throws, struggled a little bit in this one. Iowa State, a really good defense, was definitely a tough game to get for Texas and to get this offense moving. Controversial call in this one as Hunter Dekkers fumbles the ball on what ends up being the final drive of the Iowa State play, where he is getting close to having his knee down on the ground, and he takes a massive hit from a Texas defender where it looks like possible targeting. Now, I know people are going to say this is a homerism call because I am rooting for Quinn Ewers, and I am rooting for Texas, even though I'm not a Longhorns fan. To me, it looked like his shoulder connected with Hunter Dekkers' shoulder, and then the helmet followed through on the shoulder, not the head. That is not technically targeting, as he did lead with his shoulder, but there is one angle where it does look like his helmet kind of clips Hunter Dekkers' helmet. Regardless, it was not called targeting on the field. Hunter Dekkers fumbles the ball. Texas recovers it. They end up, again, holding on in a very close matchup with Iowa State. Number 24, Illinois, 26-14 over Minnesota. Good for them. Chase Brown continuing to be one of the best running backs in all college football. And I think at this point, it's probably working himself into some decent draft cap. I don't think he goes day 2, but I could easily see him being an early to mid 4th round pick and possibly doing something on your campus to Canton NFL teams as well. If he doesn't come back, there's still a realistic shot he comes back if he doesn't get a good grade. And in that case, you're having another probably great college year from Chase Brown. Number 1, Georgia handles Vandy 55-0. It's kind of what you would expect. I thought maybe Vandy would be able to put up a little bit of points on him, as Georgia has kind of stumbled here and there throughout the past couple weeks, but they look like they're really rounding into form. Obviously, the big game of the afternoon as number 6 Tennessee upsets number 3 Alabama in Knoxville 52-49 on a tipped field goal when time was expiring. This was a great game. Bryce Young fighting for his life. I mean, that offensive line was struggling to block anybody. He was trying to do everything he could to make a play, keep Bama in this game. They got down early, much like in the Texas game. A lot of penalties, a lot of deep plays. And the difference between Texas and Tennessee, Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt were connecting on them, where Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy were not. I think the big difference for Tennessee as well compared to Texas is Hendon Hooker didn't get injured. He stayed healthy. Both Quinn Ewers and Hudson Card got injured in that Texas game. Look, Bama is a great team. They'll always be a great team. They're beatable this year, guys. They just are. They should not even be they should not have been undefeated coming into this weekend. In my opinion, they should have lost to Texas. If Hudson Card doesn't get hurt or if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, I think Texas loses that game. This is just one of those years where Bama is gettable. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, you need to take advantage, and Tennessee just did that. I think the last time they were really beatable was back when I think it was Greg McElroy was their quarterback. Like Alabama consistently as a top team in the nation, they still are. Just because they lost to Tennessee doesn't make them not a top team. But I don't know that they'll lose another game, but I still think that they are beatable. They get Mississippi State this coming week. Mississippi State looked horrible against Kentucky. I don't know that they're going to have a plan to beat Bama, though. They do have the offensive firepower to get up on Bama. I don't think that defense is going to be able to put any kind of pressure on Bryce Young like Tennessee's did. That was really kind of the big, I think, turning point for this game. While the final score doesn't say that at 52-49, Tennessee's defense came up with some massive stops in this game against Alabama that really kind of helped them seal the win. Do have to mention Jalen Hyatt, 6 for 207 and 5 touchdowns. He broke Tennessee's single game receiving record. Just going to spoil it right now. Player of the week, man, for Campus Camp. Congratulations. Absolutely dominant performance from him. Another great game that was going on at the exact same time is number 13 TCU upsetting number 5 Oklahoma State in double overtime. Max Duggan brings the TCU Horned Frogs back from down to win a very great game. TCU in the driver's seat to be in the Big 12 championship. I'm very excited to see what TCU is able to do throughout the rest of the season. I was honestly kind of hoping Oklahoma State would win, because if they did, they would come in to Texas undefeated this next week. And if Texas beat them, I felt like that would really kind of help put a feather in a cap of a team I still think has small playoff chances, because this season has been crazy, guys. It's been the most wide open college season I can remember seeing of late. Look, Georgia and Ohio State are considered the best 2 teams in the nation. Even I think that both of those teams have warts that can be exposed. Number 19, Syracuse stays undefeated as they beat number 15, NC State 24-9. Great game for Syracuse. Not quite a big a score margin here as you would think. Going into the fourth quarter, I believe it was still 17-9. So it was not a massive lead for Syracuse, but they end up getting the W, get Clemson this week in a big matchup. Number 25, James Madison. First time ever ranked in the AP poll, and unfortunately they lose to Georgia Southern 45-38. Number 4, Clemson, I mentioned, gets undefeated Syracuse this week. They win 34-28 over Florida State. Good game. Not quite what I expected. I thought Clemson would beat them fairly easily. Number 22, Kentucky beats Mississippi State 27-17. This was a very weird game for me. I thought Mississippi State was going to win this game. I thought they were going to win it, and I wouldn't say handedly, but easily enough. They didn't. Matter of fact, I'm kind of surprised they were even able to put 20 or 17 points up here on Kentucky. Kentucky just looked like the better team from start to finish. Will Levis, I got to give him credit. While I've said I don't think he's a first-round draft pick, definitely think he has a lot to work on. He went out there dealing with this really bad turf toe injury, had like iron stuff apparently put in his like steel toe stuff put in his shoe to kind of help keep the toe protected. He was wearing a cleat one size bigger on that foot. Because of that, limited his mobility, yet he was still making some really big plays in that game for Kentucky to win. And then last but not least, probably the game of the day, which is crazy to say when you think about Tennessee, Alabama. USC, Utah, number 20 Utah upsets USC at home in Utah, 43-42. An incredible game here, back and forth. USC up a couple scores early. Utah comes storming back, and then they're just trading score after score after score until they get into the fourth quarter with about 30 seconds left. USC scores, and then without a second's hesitation, Kyle Whittingham, the head coach of Utah, puts the 2 up. Cam Rising didn't even look, didn't flinch. He's like, we're going for 2 to win it right here. He himself runs it in, quarterback for Utah. They get the 1-point lead, and they're able to hold on. And Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley go down. And hey, we've talked about it. USC has got a ton of great players. And I do think that they're going to be a really good team in 2023, but they were a little bit of a fraudulent top 10 team based on what we had seen. They had really struggled when they got into conference play, and we saw that when defenses were able to slow them down, they were realistically winning because they kept getting all of these turnovers and getting really great field position and being able to score because they were already on the opponent side of the field. They didn't get a lot of turnovers in this game, and Utah was able to hang with them. It's exactly what Austin, Chris, Felix, myself have been talking about on WDB. We've talked about it on Better Sports Radio. We've talked about it all season. Like, USC is a great team. Lincoln Riley, great coach. Caleb Williams, great quarterback. Jordan Addison could win the Biletnikoff 2 years ago. Let's hope that he's healthy, by the way. Went off the field. Rumors are knee, ankle. We don't know yet. Nothing confirmed. I am praying that he only has to miss a week or two because he is phenomenal. And this USC offense looks a lot better with him out on the field. But Mario Williams, Brendan Rice, Travis Dye, Austin Jones, they have incredible talent all over the field, but they're just not there yet. They're not a complete team. This doesn't mean USC's bad. They still have a chance to compete for the Pac-12 championship, so they still could possibly go on and win that and make the playoffs. But like I said earlier, even about my Ohio State Buckeyes and the Georgia Bulldogs, every single team in college right now has some warts that you can exploit if you're paying attention, which is why I don't think Texas is out of it. And I know that's crazy to say with 2 losses, but we were once told 2 SEC teams couldn't make the playoff. We would never see a team with 1 loss make it into the playoffs. Like, we would never see a team not win their conference, make it into the playoffs, or we wouldn't see a team that didn't win their conference get in over a team that won their conference. Alabama jumped to Ohio State. We've seen it. There's always exceptions to the rule. Texas, I think, could be this year. We'll wait and see. There's still a lot of season left, and they gave me a pretty good scare against Iowa State this past weekend. But guys, that'll do it for us today. Again, no Moxley, just a really quick top 25 recap. We really appreciate you guys tuning into these shows. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. Give me your top 4 in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitter. Who are the 4 teams you think make the playoffs? I mean, didn't even talk about an Oregon team as a massive matchup this week against UCLA. Both ranked, possibly playing, both undefeated in conference. USC undefeated in general, possibly playing for the Pac-12 championship or spot to get there right now. College season is wrapping up. It makes me sad to say that because I've enjoyed watching football on Saturdays 10 times more than I have on Sundays recently. I haven't even watched that many NFL games this year. College football has been amazing. Can't believe we're almost through the end of the season. But tell me below who you think your top 4 are to make the playoffs this year. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel. We will be back again. I will be back again on Friday. Tomorrow, you guys will get Austin and Colin giving you guys your waiver wire Tuesdays.